Welcome to the first ever live episode of Dion Rising! Yay!
Woo!
This is a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition actual play campaign brought to you by the Knights of D20. These fabulous folks. We'd love to give a few quick introductions since this is our first time streaming live. So let's go around the metaphorical table, beginning with our resident warlock. Please go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hello, my name is Melanie, and I am playing Lady Seraphina Blackthorn.
Bobby?
Hi, I am Bobby, and I will be playing the little Sather Druid Modelway.
And Robin?
Hi, I'm Robin, and I'm playing Bula, the half-orc barbarian.
Royal?
Hi, I'm Royal. I'll be playing Zata Stormmane. He is a Linoleum cleric monk.
Jean-Paul?
Yeah, I'm John Paul. I'm playing Ados Nawat. He's a half-drow elf sorcerer.
And Dane.
Hello, my name's Dane like the dog, and I'm playing the human Killian Sawdriv, a paladin.
And I am your dungeon mother, Kara. And together, we are the Knights of D20. Yay. Okay, before we begin, though, we have, for the first time, a few housekeeping items from Bobby, aka Modelway.
Hello. I've got about 3 news/updates for you. The first being that if you have been following us from the beginning, you might notice that a couple of our player characters are a little bit different than they were in the previous streams. So with the new update for the 2024 player handbook, almost all of us are going to be switching over once that goes live. But there were 2 of us that just for the life of them could not wait until it actually came out, and they went ahead and switched. So if you notice that, that's what's going on there. Number 2, if you are a new or newer player and you're looking for a bit of the guidance cantrip to learn how this game we play is played, I'll be hosting the Intelligence Mod Pod, or the Int Mod Pod as the Knights have begun to know it by. This is a podcast where we're going to discuss the absolute basics of Dungeons & Dragons, along with any changes that the new player handbook might bring to both the mechanics and the classes. You can expect that podcast in the next couple of weeks. We'll be keeping you up to date here and on our other socials, so if you don't follow us yet on those, we have those linked down below for your convenience. And finally, on the note of podcasts, we actually wanted to give a big shout out to the Newsworthy podcast. Newsworthy is a podcast where Steve and Jerry dive into mysterious, macabre, and just otherworldly topics. So if you're a fan of conspiracies, these 2 have some pretty great stories, and they dive into some pretty juicy facts about all of these. They're friends of the stream, and they've been talking about us a lot on their podcast, so please head on over there, give them a listen, give them a follow. And with that, I'm going to send it back to our dungeon mom.
Thank you, Bobby. Okay. Game time. Thank you, everyone, for joining us as we embark on this epic adventure in the world of Dion, where heroes rise, dangers abound, and legends are born. Players, dice at the ready? The Festival of Flowers in Tuzank has ended. 6 people with very little in common find themselves working together in a city that many consider to be the center of civilization in the world Dion. Though they have made fast friends of city leaders through several acts of heroism, they find themselves today with a moral investigation on the agenda. Should they assist the Crimson Cloak Thieves Guild in bringing low a seemingly corrupt city treasurer? Or should they turn the underground organization over to the Lena Mirnassian officials? The front doors of a kitschy inn yawn open, welcoming the golden glow of the sunrise filtered through sticky morning humidity. A salty breeze rolls through the streets from the bay. The morning is the kind of quiet that only full coffers can really afford. Curtains blow out open from the windows as the Dawnside neighborhood residents enjoy the last few hours of snoozing. Floorboards creak upstairs from the 2nd floor. Up there, a leather-clad young man prepares for the day. He coils and secures a leather whip to his belt, then straps a small shield to his left forearm. Reaching over his shoulder, he double-checks the ties, securing his sword holster. Straight-backed, he crosses to the window, scanning the environment outside. A city so different, but in many ways so similar to his own. He rocks back and forth on his boots, energized by thoughts of the previous day, and opens the door. Dane, could you please tell us a bit about Killian and what he's doing this morning?
I sure can. So Killian takes a step forward, but realizes that something's missing. Touching his forehead, Killian goes back into the room and finding what he was looking for on a nearby table. A gray, woven leather headband, along with a letter from his brother that he's been reading every morning and night since receiving it. He slowly grabs hold of the headband and brings it to his heart. I have not forgotten my vow to you, Mother. I will find those responsible for what happened to our family. And on that day, they best pray for the mercy of Oasis, for they shall receive none from me. Killian will wrap the headband around his head as he mutters the same silent prayer that he does every day. Killian then exits his room in the Buoyant Banshee and proceeds towards the stairs to join his new companions, but he's stopped in the hallway by a sharp pain in his right eye. Killian has felt this pain once before, and that was when he was first blessed with his divine eye. You see, Killian's left eye is the typical dark brown hue, but his right eye tells a tale of both tragedy and destiny. A marvel of celestial beauty, Killian's right eye has a glossy shine to it, similar to obsidian, but it's speckled with gentle yellow glimmers, like stars scattered across the night sky. Instinctively, he places his hand on his eye, and the familiar sensation of the scars on his face are felt, a wound inflicted upon him when he was a child. Killian then shakes off the pain, not wanting any of his companions to see his discomfort. The young man in his mid-20s stands tall, showing off his muscular physique to project confidence, even though there are many uncertainties in his life that plague his thoughts. Killian then makes his way down the stairs, passing through the dining area of the Buoyant Banshee before heading outside to start the day with some community service for the citizens in need of aid. A common practice by those who worship Oasis, Killian wants to use this opportunity to gather more information in regards to the claims made by Valka of the Thieves Guild.
From the table at the foot of the stairs, one can gaze out through the open entryway and see straight across the square to the arches and blue-domed towers of Tuzank Hall. Groggily plopping down at a pleasant vantage point is a young man with gently curling white hair. He sits, more solemn than usual, tying a lace ribbon to his left horn. His puffy eyelids are heavy, occasionally floating shut before he jolts back to attention. He stretches his furred legs to meet the encroaching shaft of pale yellow sunlight from the open doorway and lets his embroidered shawl fall off his shoulders. A shaky sigh escapes him as he embraces the warmth. Bobby, what should we know about Maraway? And what might he get up to this morning to try and shake off the scaries of the night?
Maraway sits looking to be the age of about 19. He's scrawny and thin. He's got horns that are adorned with just flowers and gems. He wears a little patchwork skirt with light purple loose-fitting top and a purple beaded shawl that's wrapped around his thin arms that are also adorned with swirling designed tattoos around them. Maraway sits holding a dull orange flower in his hand, and those hands are resting on an open book that have handwritten Sylvan words inside. His mind is a world away, and he almost looks to the flower for guidance with a sense of longing, as he mutters to himself in Sylvan. What would you do, Mother? This world is so broken. It's full of hate and greed. The nobles are not noble at all. I don't understand. I don't know what to do. I don't even know where to start. I wish I could speak to you one final time. You always knew the correct course of action to take. I miss you, Mother. As tears fall from his cheeks onto the page of his open book, his purple eyes surrounded by puffy red eyelids that stand out against his pale face as he looks out the window to a hopeless and confusing world, tracing the petals of the flower with his long pointed nails while holding it close to his heart. He sits there letting a bit of the sunlight that's peeking over the horizon hit his skin as he closes his eyes and tries to find comfort in the warmth of the sun, though it seems there's none to be had. Maraway looks down to the flower with a desperate gaze before looking away in disappointment. As the sun fully arrives from behind the horizon, he looks back to the withering flower. No more time for sadness today. And with that, he uses his magic to bring the vibrant color black, and its healthy petals stand ready to display its joyful color. As he looks up to the sun and takes a deep breath, he tucks his heavy hair away, wipes the tears away, and hides his grief behind a practiced smile. Morrowind hops to his hooves with his book behind him. He almost skips to the tavern creeper with a joyous, "Hello, good morning to you. I hope you did a well sleep. Look at this flower that I found next to my face when I waked it up. Isn't it pretty?" And he continues to chat with the tavern keeper about useless nothings, recounting his time in the flower maze, the joyful parade that he got to lead, before ordering a delicious plate of the fluffy cloud breakfast cakes.
But meanwhile, outside, Killian has found one of his interesting acquaintances in his usual spot on the front patio, sitting on the stone, taking deep, meditative breaths. With eyes closed and the streets yet to be filled with the usual crowds, the massive Leonin can almost believe he's sitting at the natural border, where desert sand meets yellow grass in the great Ilar reaches. Killian's light footsteps prompt the young lion to turn his face to the sky as he opens his golden eyes, indulging in the last moments of reminiscing on his home. Royal, can you describe Zata and what follows for him this morning?
Sure can. Zata is feeling a bit disillusioned after the day he just previously had. The thrill of the big city has quickly soured now that he thinks of home and how pleasant beauty his life there was. He looks down at his armor and his weapon laid in a heap and regards them with a disapproving frown. Zata then stands, stretches his full length of 6'10", his lean, taut form groaning with the thought of putting on the heavy armor once again, much preferring the simple lion cloth he now adorns. The sunlight is warm as it hits his mostly tan fur, color reminiscent of the plains where he was raised. Speckled amongst his tans are swaths of black fur, starting from his mane, creeping down the lengths of his back, dripping onto his arms and legs like wet paint. The tip of his tail is black as well, as if he has dipped it into the abyss. Zata then raises his golden eyes to the sun to drink in the light, as if to banish the dark thoughts from his head. Scars litter his body, and each tells a story that brings a smile to his face. The dark thoughts start to recede as he retraces his fingers through his scars. A warm smile, then he lifts his hands from the scars, flexes his fingers. He decides that today he goes back to that person that he was on the plains.
A woman wakes upstairs to a familiar voice shouting down the hallway. "Seraphina, did you borrow my oxen horn comb?" She rubs the sleep out of her eyes, sits up, and concentrates on a spell she's been practicing. It takes a few moments as the impatient voice demands, "Sarah, my comb!" Excitement and wonder sets her hands shaking as the spell really connects, and she sends her unseen servant down the hall to her friend's room with the comb in question. Further down the hall, a soft thud sounds. Eyes still half closed, the woman throws off the duvet and pulls a lavender silk robe over her nightdress as she moves to the single chair she pilfered from the dining room 3 nights back. Instead of sitting, she crouches, reaching under the chair to retrieve a bundle of sheets and blankets, gently cradling them in her lap as she sits back down. She unwraps the linens to reveal a scaled egg the size of a large house cat and presses her palms to the toasty surface. She smiles to herself as she hears Eidos' sarcastic "thank you" from the room next door. Nerves cause her heart to flutter a bit as she watches the light colors slowly ripple across the eggshell, like colored inks in fresh milk. Every day the egg feels warmer and becomes ever more difficult to keep hidden and safe. Muttering a quick prayer to the sky for confidence and skill, she begins her morning beauty routine. Melanie, would you like to tell us about Seraphina and how she'll make herself presentable today?
Using potions and elixirs she managed to pack before leaving home, Lady Seraphina Blackthorn leans back, closes her bright green eyes, and allows her unseen servant to begin her morning skincare routine. The invisible hands work diligently, starting with a cleansing tincture, followed by a refreshing mist of enchanted spring water. Finally, a luxurious serum infused with moonflower essence is gently tapped into her skin. Seraphina's dyed, long blonde hair is braided into a crown across the top of her head, hiding those pesky dark roots that have begun to peek out since she left home. Seraphina stands, and a delicate chemise of fine linen is slipped over her head, followed by multiple layers of petticoats. A bone corset is laced firmly around her waist, shaping her figure and providing the posture befitting a noble blackthorn sorcerer. Seraphina steps into a lavishly embroidered pink silk gown featuring a delicate lace trim and a flowing skirt that rustles softly with her every movement. As she finishes dressing, Seraphina reaches out to grab her precious egg, to hide it under her many skirts. But as her hand touches the warmth of the shell, a vibrant surge of power overwhelms and unsteadies her. After taking a few moments to gather her conviction, Seraphina stands upright. Her fingers trace the delicate pendant that rests just above her collarbone. The family heirloom reminds her of the birthright she was born to uphold as a blackthorn sorcerer.
The soft thud Seraphina heard after Eidos's catastrophe appeared to be a 12-inch boot hitting a different bedroom door, chucked from a different bed in protest to the noise. In this room, a woman tries to fall back asleep, back to the dream she was having about pot roast falling apart in peppered gravy. Her own stomach growling pulls her fully away from sleep, and she practically rolls off the bed, landing on Marway's stuffed bear. A fond grin cracks as she lovingly tucks the plush toy into her belt. Thudding directly down onto the floor on her bottom, she pulls on the boot she didn't throw across the small room. She cracks her neck on both sides and climbs to her feet, making her way to the door and second boot. Still carrying it in one hand, she opens the door, hoping for the smell of bacon to be wafting up the stairs already. Robin, can you further explain a bit about Bula and give us a picture of whether she follows her stomach downstairs or pursues some other instinct this morning?
So Bula stretches to her full 6'5" height as she reaches the door, and she yawns impossibly wide, and you can see these two sharp but smallish bottom tusks. And she scratches her ample olive green cleavage, and she kind of tucks all her bits away and makes sure everything's in place after a very heavy mead-soaked sleep. And then she follows her nose and the smell of breakfast after pulling on her last boot. And she comes down the stairs, and she tries to tame the dark curls around her face, and she wipes the sleep out of her honey-colored eyes. And she straightens her leather belt that's got some of her smaller weapons over her very wide hips. And she sees that the food laid out on the table, it looks decent. I mean, it's nowhere near what Grandma Maz used to spread out back in the holler. And as she thinks of that, it kind of leaves her with a hollow, almost angry feeling at all the family she left behind. So she shakes that off, and she looks for Marway. And he's over talking to the tavern keeper, and the gems and the baubles on his horns and in his hair, they catch the morning light from the windows, and they make him look almost sparkly with magic. And she doesn't know why, but she's really, really drawn to the satyr, and she feels almost like a weird sense of home in the most peculiar way. And then she kind of snorts, and she crosses the room to join Marway at the bar, because surely she is just drawn to him because he is holding a plate of pancakes, and it is definitely time to eat breakfast.
Eidos sits on his bed upstairs and combs his fine, luminous white hair, noting to himself that it would look especially striking against his blue skin if he braided it just so today. He hears Bula's unmistakable heavy footsteps pass his door. He isn't quite sure if it's his imagination or if he can really hear her stomach growling all the way from here. Suddenly, he's struck with the strangest sense of homesickness, and he thinks of the cold, thinly sliced meats and honeyed cheeses served for breakfast back in Thari Shulai. For all the ways he felt stifled and alone in his own home, he can't help but miss the comforts of Pravos while he picks lint off the comparatively scratchy blanket provided by Barnacle and Hattie. His scowl grows sharper at the edges as he's reminded of the conversation with Hattie last night. New city, same old problems. Wishing he could shrug off this uncomfortable sense of responsibility, the half-drow finally rises, strapping his staff to his back and buckling on a lightning-embossed belt. John Paul, would you like to tell us more about Eidos and where he goes from here?
Yeah, absolutely. he's going to immediately put the staff back down and prop his traveling mirror on a journal he was working on last night, and just make sure that all his braids are still perfectly in place, perfectly tightened. He'll give his beautiful white hair another pass with the oxen horn comb that Seraphina stole. And he straightens his brand new night black cape over his neatly pressed tunic, and finds himself surprised about how much he misses the last cape he sold to pay for this one. It bore the insignia of his royal family and the province of Pravos, his home country. But those insignia were precisely why he had to get rid of it. Told strangers way too much about him, and painted a target on his back for his father to aim at from across the sea, surely furious that he gave up his role as heir to the throne. This new cape was an attempt to wash away that target. And he finds himself thinking about the day ahead. He hopes that the leader of the Thieves Guild was wrong. They found that what she said was true, and that the leaders of Tuzank were exploiting the people of the city. The others seemed ready to step in and help. He couldn't help but think of the irony of him being here in this foreign land, ready to help somebody else's downtrodden after sitting at home watching his own people suffer under the rule of his father for so many years, standing idly by and doing nothing before running away. But he shakes his head and tries to push that aside. He spent all night writing about it in the journal that he now takes the traveling mirror and puts face down on, and he'll go outside and try to collect Seraphina, who has surely taken longer than he has getting ready this morning, as she often does.
And you swing by Seraphina's room. Her door is still cracked from her unseen servant. You push it all the way open and see Seraphina. Seraphina, what might you be doing at this point as you're finishing your preparations?
Seraphina is just smoothing out her mini skirts, and she's just tapping her belly, hiding the egg that's underneath all of her skirts, and she just greets Eidos. Good morning. Nice braid.
Thank you very
and
much.
They both have their hair braided.
Of course, you look perfect as usual. I see you've spent many, many hours again. I'm assuming everybody is downstairs waiting for us. Shall we go meet them?
After you.
I'll put my arm out and I'll head out to the dining area.
Seraphina will take his arm and follow him down.
Ever the gentleman and lady, you both come sweeping magnificently on a phantom wind blowing your hair and your dresses. Coming down the stairs, and you look like you're descending into a ballroom, even though it's just Bula and Marway sitting there shoveling pancakes in. And Hattie and Barnacle are getting the usual breakfast ready, getting the place cleaned up a little bit from the night before, just doing their usual thing. You don't see Zata and Killian, who have already made their way outside, but that's par for the norm. What would you like to do between the four of you here in the bar?
So to the others to say, good morning. Thanks for waiting on us as usual. We had some business to attend to, of course.
Of course. But look at this flower I found. And he's gonna almost press this flower into Eidos' face.
Before it gets too close, Eidos will pluck it and say, thank you very, very much. And he'll try to tuck it behind his own ear.
Oh, it looks lovely on you, though.
Yes, I know. Thank you. Reminds me of the flowers back home. It's beautiful.
It reminds me of the flowers I had in my home as well.
Oh, nice. I see you're as cheerful as always. Bula, you get enough to eat?
She just looks up from where she's hunkered over her plate. She's got a little bit of bacon trailing out. She just looks at you, she slurps it in like spaghetti.
Indeed.
And then just kind of goes, keeps eating. Just no time for talking.
Where are the others?
Well, when I was up looking out into the sunlight, I saw them leave, but I didn't ask where they went. So I don't really know. I would imagine they went to go do the naked fighting again.
Tantalizing. Seraphina, would you like to go watch?
Yes.
Should we place
Always.
Once again, having very specific fantasies.
Yeah.
You start to make your way to the door.
Come on, Bula, you can bring the food with you.
She takes a sausage in one hand, puts it in one pocket. She takes a thing of mead, guzzles it real quick, and then puts at least 4.5 pancakes in the other pocket.
Ados will take
Shuffles out the door.
Ados will take a ridiculously small cup of coffee and just a little bit of espresso in there, and he'll follow.
All right, excellent. You all walk out into now the rising sun, and the city is glorious. The way the sunlight shines off of these like large white pillars. Tuzank Hall is just magnificent. The gates itself are more just like series of bridges and arches in front of you to Tuzank Hall, and its city is yours for the taking. And you find Zata standing there outside, getting ready to embrace his day.
Oh, you're muted.
Oh, you're muted.
He's doing a miming routine.
I am.
Someone cast silence on him. Oh god.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. How are you doing this morning?
I was
Quite
promised
excellent.
naked fighting.
Yeah, we're here for the naked fighting. Are you going to be doing that again?
If Killian wants to do fighting, I'm always up for a spar, unless one of you wants to fight me.
Like naked?
I will be wearing a loincloth. I could go naked if you want.
Oh my goodness. This wasn't the proposition I was ready for this morning.
Everyone involved is blushing. Even Zata. Underneath the tan parts of your fur, there's just pink skin.
Bula just takes a pancake out of her pocket and just like tosses it, and it just kind of like right on his fuzzy forehead, and she says, "Get dressed." And she walks past him, and as she does, she peels that pancake back off and shoves it in her mouth.
I guess we're not doing any training. I was actually about to say, I need to go to the store. I don't think I'm going to be wearing my armor anymore.
Oh, he is doing naked fighting.
As with the plains of people, yes, we don't wear a lot of clothes. We find them to be just in the way, and it's very hot. So I just plan to basically wear what I've normally been wearing, so I guess it'd be close enough to naked, I suppose.
Well, I guess we should go get you the jingle jangles and sell your armor, and then you can do all the naked fighting you want to.
Thank you, Marley.
All right, so you're gonna head out into the city, maybe back to the shopping district you found the first time around?
Yes.
Fabulous. Second shopping montage. We love to see it. All right. Killian, where are you at this point? Just so I know where you are.
Killian will have like walked past Zata when he was outside, and he kind of went out to just really find anyone that needs any kind of help. Maybe there's like a little old lady somewhere that's trying to pull some lumber or maybe some food, and he'll kind of help her out, help out some children somewhere. Like he's just kind of spreading out to help wherever he can, and in the process, he'd like to kind of pick up where the conversation that we had last night with the owner of the Buoyant Banshee to talk about what's going on in the city. Like how are the common folk faring with the change in, let's say, the tax structure that has occurred rather recently.
Cool. Okay. So that being said, I would say Killian would have the instinct to get out of this particularly wealthy neighborhood, the Dawnside neighborhood, and head into maybe a less well-to-do part of the city to do some community service and some light recon about what life in the city is really like for the small folk. So you do that while the rest of your party heads off to the shops. Zata, what specifically would you be looking for as you're like window shopping, browsing, trying to figure out where to spend your coin?
So he's going to look for a little bit of. He's going to trade in his sword and his armor. He's just going to be looking for a spear and keep a short sword that he's going to want to get. He'll try to find just like some like really short shorts, like loose fitting or not. Well, actually, it would be really tight for that, so that he can wear underneath his loincloth, because people keep on telling him he's naked, but he's like, I'm not naked. So he's trying to get a little bit, at least a little more clothed. He'll probably try to find like a pair of pants when he's supposed to see people that are important, but very, very loose pants, very loose and comfortable. And then he may just try to look for a small vest, like probably a leather vest that he could have over. And he would just look for a nicer loincloth, probably something in red or white, and something he could do the mark of Ere on, because I don't think anybody else is going to want to put that mark on his clothes for him, so he'll probably just do it himself.
No, we've taught him shame.
Is he not comfortable in his nakedness anymore?
I don't know. He said really short shorts under a loincloth. I still feel like we're not very close.
Sounds like never. It sounds like never
nude.
Yeah.
He's getting pants and stuff for you guys when you decide to go to like important things. He'll just have like some type of clothing on.
All right,
His
I love
formal loincloth.
Yeah.
it. Okay. Yeah, you're searching through the city. And while the people here tend to dress in like very drapey, long like robes and dresses, you're looking for something a little bit lighter, a little bit easier to move in. So you go through a few stores before you really find what you're looking for. And you find yourself in a store called the Ember and the Lace. And they do specialize in like light fabrics and fabrics that are a bit of a looser weave, specifically made for the warmer seasons. And you do find like a pair of like brief style shorts that fit you. They're in a larger size for a humanoid, but you are a larger humanoid indeed. So they fit you nicely, and they're made of this like very like nice supple suede material that you like the feel of. You also find some white linen. It wasn't intended to be a loincloth. But they are like different sashes and things that you can adjust on a belt and wear together as something like a loincloth. That's very nice looking once you drape it just so. And then you do find a pair of large loose pants. They appear to have been made originally for like a Goliath-sized person. They fit you quite nicely once you belt them around the waist. Because you're tall, you had to get something a little bit on the larger size, but that means they are nice and loose and easy to move around in. And most of these are in shades of tans and whites that really complement your coloring. And you just have to pay about 10 silver, or a gold for all of this combined. You manage to make it out of the more expensive part of the city while looking for these things. And it occurs to Eidos that you guys are definitely in like an underwear and lingerie store.
Perfect. Yeah, the only other thing is you'll probably look for bracers and then probably shin guards for himself.
Fabulous.
But they definitely have those at the lingerie store.
Definitely.
Those are in the back.
Yeah.
I'll
We're
show you
killing
those
this
later.
For those specific types of fantasies.
You make it into an armorer. It's not like a blacksmith shop where things are produced, but it is a place that buys and sells weapons and things like that. It's called the Silent Edge. And you come away with spending 5 gold on a very nice looking copper-tipped spear. It looks like something that would be sold to the Copper Cloaks if they are looking for something a little bit different than the usual armaments that they get to use. And you find some really nice black leather bracers that you're very into. They're stitched up just in a way that makes them look very like rugged, and it looks like something that would be made back home. But in this case, it's more aesthetic.
Thank you all. You didn't have to come with me for doing this. I just decided that with things that have been going on, I just wanted to feel a little bit more at home.
Certainly.
Well, that makes sense. I would love to feel back at home. And then, as he says that, he like glares over at the flower that Idax has in his hand or in his hair.
All right, and Killian, meanwhile, while all this shopping is going on the other side of the city, you've made your way into a very different neighborhood than what you've seen so far. You managed to find almost like a farmer's market happening in this part of the city. It's where pretty much like wholesale produce can be found. Like if you need to buy a whole pig for something, this is the place you'd go to get it. And you help unload and set up things on this one specific family's cart. This little family of halfling sales folk. They ask you, well, you're looking, you don't look like the kind of people who usually come around the knot. What are you doing in town?
Well, I actually just got here recently. I happened to arrive here when the festival was going on, and I decided to take a look around the towns, see if anyone needed some help.
And the father says, well, you've come to the right place. We're all trying to get in and out of this shop as fast as we can and get on with our day, so thank you for being an extra pair of hands. If you'll get that crate over there, and they kind of direct you, and you're helping replenish their stand while people are shopping for the day.
Yeah, Killian has no problem helping out these individuals.
Yeah, it feels like good, honest work, and also the crates are heavy, so you're like, it's also a workout. Multitasking, which Killian is like to do. And while you're doing so, you want to try and glean a little bit of information about them, or how are you going to go about this?
Yeah, Killian will ask the family here. So, how long have you guys been in Tuzank for?
Oh, he looks at his wife and he says, well, we've been here, nigh on 22 years now, I think. Been a long 22 years, but we've liked it enough.
And has everything been, how's business been?
Depends on the season, really. Winters are scarcer every year, it seems, but summers are ripe for money, I suppose. People coming and going through the city keep us pretty well stocked and well fed.
And is it more like I couldn't help but notice that some areas of the city are a little bit more prosperous than other areas. Is this something that's been always the case here?
Are you not from cities? That's typically how they work on the Middle Continent, my friend. Yeah. So this is, in case you're not been in the city long, this neighborhood is called the Knot. Sell my stuff here because, well, frankly, it's where people need the stuff to sell, to buy. And I can turn a pretty penny on hungry enough people. But, sorry, my cats hear me again. But, business is business. The income taxes are pretty bad, so anything we can grow and sell right here in the Knot is gonna be better off than trying to import and export from this out of the city.
That's fair, and I've talked to a fair number of other citizens here, and they seem to all agree that the income taxes have been going up as of late. Is that anything that's affected you?
Yeah, it is. You see the state of my tomatoes? It's because I can't get good enough plants anymore because they're too expensive, and all my income goes to the city, which is fine. We need roads to ship our stuff around, so I guess it is what it is. Are you a budding financialist? What do you ask? Why do you ask?
Well, you see, I'm one of the protectorate of Oasis, and as our deity, preaches, we look out for the community, and I just happen to notice a lot of disparity between, some areas of the city compared to, the Knot district, for example, and I was just curious to investigate a little bit more.
Yeah, sure, yeah, disparity, it tends to be everywhere, but Tuzank I don't think is any worse than anywhere else I've been, and I'm from the real small village, and they don't have rhyme or reason to make any money, so it is what it is, my friend. We make a good enough living, yes, honey? And his wife goes, sure, yeah. I could use a new pair of shoes, though, whenever you get a chance.
Well, I was wondering if, I'm sure you hear a lot of conversation at your stall here. Was there any mention of maybe a Lord Herron of some sort, and his rise maybe increasing the income taxes that have, been increased lately?
I can't say I know who this Herron person is. We don't get a lot of lordly types in our neighborhood, but, yeah, I mean, the taxes, they go up every year. I assume that the city's growing or constructing something somewhere that I'm not privy to, but, that's above my pay grade for sure.
It's fair enough. Anything else I can help you with?
Yeah, we got 3 casks of juices back in the cart. Could you pull those out here? We're selling it like hotcakes. It's getting warmer, and everybody needs them.
Killian just kind of takes a big breath in and sighs a little bit, and oh, all right. And he goes and helps unload these 3 casks.
And after quite a bit more backbreaking work than you like to do early morning, he generously offers you 5 copper. He's like, well, we don't really, we pay our help around here, so this is all I could really afford right now, not having planned on having an employee today.
That's all right. Would you mind if maybe instead of the copper, I just take a little bite to eat?
Please. The boar is especially good this time of year.
Perfect. I'll have a little bit of that if you don't mind.
He makes you essentially a cold cut sandwich out of boar meat. It's passable. It's pretty good. It's nice salted meat.
Killian will take the sandwich and kind of bid the family farewell as he goes off and just eats a sandwich and just observes the market and the state of things.
You walk around. Roll a perception check, just a general perception.
All right. That is going to be 17.
Wonderful. Okay. You're walking around, keeping in mind the things you've heard in the last day or so, and you kind of listen in on some conversations of not just the sellers, but the buyers in this market. There's plenty of people who look to be needing food. There's plenty of people who look to be scrounging for the best possible financial bargains. Not all of the food is as nice as the family that you were helping. Clearly they have a bit of a way of growing their own produce. Not everybody looks to have that much fresh wares to sell. And there's really an assortment of things being sold here, not just food, but clothing and house maintenance tools and things. It's very much a general store of a market, if you will. And you get the idea that this is the lower part of the city for sure. And with that role, you also probably witness 1 or 2 not active pickpockets, but a couple kids and teenagers running around looking less than trustworthy, a little bit suspicious looking characters, the kind of people that prey on each other in a not so honest way.
While Killian's looking around, does he notice any shops that are selling any books at all?
This being a warehouse of different things, there doesn't appear to be a lot of frivolous purchasing happening here. There are a couple stalls that are selling very cut and dry, here's how you start a garden, here's how you prepare the soil, here's how you make sure that season over season your crops yield more. But those are all more or less just almost like textbooks, very dry learning material more than fun reading, if that's the kind of thing you're looking for.
Yeah, and After Killian just kind of observes things for a little while, he'll eventually make his way back to the Buoyant Banshee, however long that might take him.
Fabulous. Okay. It'll take you a while to walk across the city. And as you walk across the city, you do, like, literally as you're walking downhill toward the bay, it's like the coin rolls downhill. The houses get bigger, the pillars, the streets multiply upward, so that the top of the city is almost flat, even though it's built on this rather steep decline toward the river and the bay. And you make your way back through the city toward where you left your friends at the inn. As for the rest of you, after a little shopping excursion, aside from that, is there anything else anybody would be doing this morning while waiting around for Killian to return?
The only thing that Zata would like to do is he would probably go up to Seraphina and Morroway and just be like, where I come from, we also braid our hair and we add like feathers and trinkets into our stuff for like our guardians or our spirits and stuff like that. I was wondering if you could help me get this mane back to like that.
He wants us to do a makeover.
Makeover montage.
That's incredible. And Zata, as soon as you ask, you see both of their eyes light up in exactly the way that you just heard them. And you're just like, oh god, I almost regret asking.
Yeah, it's like not nothing crazy, just just a little bit.
I imagine in his mind he's like envisioning like all the feathers and like the bone trinkets from his home, but Morroway is going to fill his braids with like little flowers and cute little baubles that are adorable.
All right, anybody helping with Zata's makeover montage, go ahead and roll a sleight of hand with advantage, because you're so excited.
Eidos, I think you should help too, since your braid looks especially good this morning.
Oh, yes, I would love to. Love to help him. When's the last time you've cleaned your fur?
I clean my fur quite often.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Do you do the thing that the kitties do where you lick your paw and then wipe it?
No, I get the soap and I wash my...
He is not a cat. We've established
That's
that.
what he keeps saying, but then the similarities are striking.
I mean, lions are the cat family, I suppose. I'm not a cat.
Not doing yourself favors, Zata.
You see, he's the same family as the kitty.
Yes, he did say that, didn't he? Say sleight of hand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
First roll, let's go. That would be a 15.
Nice.
Seraphina gets... Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Seraphina. No.
Seraphina gets a natural 20 for a 22, so she's doing like very intricate braids all down his back.
Yeah. Like we're even able to get like the long part of his mane that's like much shorter hair but goes all the way down his back. That's being intricately braided. He's looking like a Targaryen.
You do not need my help. You're good at this.
I imagine Morroway starts the braid. He's like behind the ear, and he's like, getting his ear patted, and Morroway just kind of stops and is just doing that from this point on.
His foot starts kicking.
No, I don't know.
Okay, yeah, with those rolls, Zata, you're looking a bit more like yourself, but much prettier, much more,
much 4 foot up.
Yassified. Incredible. Perfect. And
yeah, that. I was gonna say the last thing I was gonna say is I was just gonna bring out some like mixtures of like paint that he does, so you'll notice like his paw prints he's gonna be put on there, and then he'll just offer each one of you. He's like, where we come from, we put our paw prints on each other as a show that we are together when we're fighting. And I was wondering if you would be, since I do not with my tribe, and you're basically my tribe at this time, would you like to be with me in my fights?
Well, let's do the handprint.
I'm going to turn to Seraphina and mouth the word prestidigitation with a question mark. That would be awesome.
Alright.
Motorway, because his arms are like too small for you to like do an arm, he's gonna like turn around and like pull his shawl on his back so you can like put it on his shoulder blade area.
Oh, okay. So you want me to paw you?
Yeah.
Are we pawing you, or are you pawing us?
Yeah, you paw me. Yeah, but
Oh,
if you
I'll
want
paw you
to
all
be
day.
pawed.
Oh, I thought we were all
Why is
pawing
there
each
so much
other.
pawing going on?
I misunderstood.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna
I
try to
also
get your...
thought
Yeah,
want
this cape is brand new.
No, you would put it on my fur.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what we do.
I'll walk up
Oh,
and
but if it's a fur thing, and then he like ruffles his skirt up to his like goat leg is out, looking like he's trying to hail a taxi or something.
This is probably the first time most of the group has seen your whole goat leg. It's very soft and fuzzy. And you all spend a couple minutes doing this. And Killian walks back up to the group. You're all outside the Buoyant Banshee. And Killian walks up and he's literally just like, oh, everybody's just pawing each other now. Okay.
What are you guys doing?
We're putting the blue paw print on each other. It makes us one.
join us.
One of us.
Oh my god.
Who was that like paint smeared across her face because in the middle of pawing, she ate a chicken leg and then wiped her face.
And
But
what?
go ahead.
It's like, and what is the point of this paint?
From where I'm from, the tribe members put our handprints, our paw prints, as we have, on each other to show that we are with each other during combat. So even if we are far away, we are together.
Oh, say no more. And Ken will dunk his hand in the paint, slap it on you.
Killian's is a big old splat of a handprint.
It's all blobby.
well,
Okay.
Killian, where have you been?
Oh, well, I was out in the Knot District and just observing some of the people to kind of learn a little bit more about what Valka had spoken of yesterday.
Did you
They
find
have a whole
proof of her things?
district around tying knots.
Not so much, but it just seemed to be a place where a lot of the commoners were, and I couldn't help but notice a little bit of disparity amongst a lot of the commoners. You know, some of them had, let's say, a little bit more means than others. You know, I noticed a fair amount of pickpockets and things of that nature. Some farmers weren't able to, you know, sell their foods in a timely manner. A lot of spoiled foods on the markets and things of that nature. Now, of course, that's not exactly the, let's say, the hard evidence that we might need that something nefarious is going on, because this kind of thing happens in all major cities.
Yeah, not quite what we're looking for. Maybe there's a polar district that we can go to, or a place where this is more focused.
We could just go to the treasurer's house and just look at it or talk to him.
What are we looking at?
I would agree. We just
just
walk
looking
in
at
and
his
we
house?
say,
Yeah.
yeah. We go in and we say, "Hi, Law. Are you a corrupt person?"
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And if he sees anything untoward,
He works. for
Seraphina can obviously charm him like she did last time, and we can turn them in. That's what we
Is
did
it-
last time. It worked last time perfectly.
Do
Is
we
it-
still have the ropes of friendship?
He-
I picked them up at the store, the leather and lace store.
Well, I'm afraid he is a treasurer for this city's government. Of course, he's going to be untoward. That might not be the evidence we need.
Wait, so all your government officials are untoward?
Most sane people would say yes, I think.
What's the point of a government in this place?
Oh, we've spent the last 2 days talking about this. Let's not get into it again.
Just keep learning new things, and I hate even more of it. I don't know. I feel like the best way is the most direct way is just to ask somebody and see what they decide to say. If they squirm or if they feel like they're doing something wrong. I mean, I could always challenge them to combat. You guys do that, right? You can challenge someone to combat to make them tell what they're supposed to be telling.
Yes, but we generally consider it unwise to challenge people to combat if they have the entire city guard standing behind them.
Also,
Why
he'll
it's called-
cheat.
There's
And
better ways
this-
of doing things.
Mm-hmm. And
What
remember, Valka mentioned that there was a powerful magical artifact at work as well. So we don't know the range or the limitations of this magic item. So that's not to just waltz in there, or maybe we might fall under its control as well.
Harry will protect me.
That's nice. That's nice for you.
but on
Fortunately,
the
I'm not
off-
familiar with it.
We just get all of this food so we could take it to the commoners, yes?
We did leave Hattie and feeling a bit down last night. She said that she would check on what prices in the morning for us. Maybe we ask her.
I think that sounds like a good idea.
Mm-hmm. I
I believe
agree.
she is.
There's definitely a lot of people that could use some of that food.
Yeah, and in any case, if we don't find any evidence of corruption, at least we've done a good thing today, I suppose. It's how I
But-
wanted to spend the day.
I feel like you're just treating a symptom and not dealing with the problem.
Well-
feel
But
Yes.
to find the full problem, we have to figure out all of the symptoms.
We
We
need
can't
ev-
just bust in there and kill him for nothing. We have to know that what we're doing is correct. Otherwise,
we don't
aren't
have to
we
kill
bad
him.
guys also?
what you don't have to kill him. We can just tell him that he has to show us everything he has, and if he just doesn't, we beat him up until he can't move anymore, and then we take a look around anyways.
That
Well,
And
sounds
if
a
we
little
won the
better.
fight, I mean, it's for the good of the people, right?
And let me ask you, after that happens, then what happens? Someone just replaces them?
That's usually how it works in my tribes, yes.
Well, what we had planned this morning was not to treat a symptom. It was to find evidence of a sickness in general. This is just a reconnaissance mission. And a good thing to do, I guess.
I suppose. I mean, there are better uses of time, but if this is what you wish to do, then yeah, I can go along with it for now.
Certainly. And maybe afterward we can fight the entire city guard. Does that sound good?
If you want me to fight everybody, I will do it.
Oh, I bet you could. You're very strong. And Ados will stand up, and he'll go inside the Buoyant Banshee to see if Hattie is about.
She is. She's cleaning up. She's like cleaning the griddles that she was making the breakfast pancakes in. Now that she's done serving everybody. And she says, "Oh, I thought you all left for the day. Are you still is Bula still hungry? I'll make more if I need to."
I can always eat.
Good to hear, my girl. You're keeping us in business all by yourself this week. She rinses off the skillet and puts it back on the heat. Gets it warm again. Starts mixing up another thing of batter. She like crumbles up some like stale bacon and says like, "Do you want bacon pancakes?"
Is that a question?
That's what I figured. Automatically throws them into the batter. Mixes up the bacon in the batter.
Who doesn't
She's
want
not-
bacon pancakes?
He says, "What are you all gonna get up to today? Any sightseeing? Anything fun going on?"
Apparently, we're going to be feeding the people. Also, where's the treasurer's house? Just a off question. That doesn't have to relate to anything.
Just curious.
No relation.
She says, "Weird question, but it's actually just like 3 blocks behind on the other side of Tuzank Hall. If you just go around the walls of Tuzank and 3 blocks back, you'll find it. It's one of the oldest buildings in the city, actually, so it's kind of like dead center in the city proper. So you can't miss it. It's a pretty nice house. It's no Tuzank Hall, don't get me wrong, but pretty nice." What was your first question? Sorry, I was thrown off by the question about the treasure. Why do you want to know? What a strange question.
We are here to feed the people, and I am to not go towards the treasurer's house at all.
You asked where it is so you could avoid it.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, I guess if you're feeding the people, you probably don't need to feed him. He literally has all the money, so fair enough. I'm just gonna stop asking questions. I don't think I want to know anything else. I do remember you asked me about the food last night. Yeah, we could probably give you like, I don't know, 30 gold's worth from the shipment that came in this morning. That should feed like 50 to 75 people, give or take. A good amount of food. You know, we got the good stuff, so I just kind of doubled our order for you.
Well, thank you very much, Addie. And first of all, I would like to apologize if we left you with a bad taste in your mouth last night. It seemed a little out of sorts. So if we had anything to do with that, I sincerely apologize.
Honey, that's sweet. If you asked Barnacle, he would say I'm always a little out of sorts. So that's kind of you to say you're sorry, but no need to. I'm fine. Busy week that I've had, so I apologize if I was rude.
Oh, you weren't rude at all. You've been ever the gracious host. But yes, thank you so much for preparing all this. And yeah, this is basically just a charitable thing we're doing. Where would you suggest we take all this food?
Just strictly for like charity work, or are you trying to like make a little bit of money off of it?
Oh no, we don't need to make money off of it. We just want to give it to the people who need it the most.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, if I was thinking of the people who need it the most, probably some of the houses in the knot, which is just on the outside of the city wall to the north. You could also go to South Tuzank. That's, if I'm being honest, a little bit more of a dangerous neighborhood, but also outside of the city wall. Not a lot of Copper Cloak presence, but definitely people who are hungry out there. Really, if you wanted to stay inside the city walls, all of Freebridge, the closer you get to the wall, the more people are going to be hungry for something free. So really, any of those would be good options. Freebridge is like the whole side of the city on the other side of the river from here. Should I get to cooking, or are you trying to take it today?
Depends on what my friends say. What do y'all think? Do we want to do this?
If people are hungry, we probably shouldn't make them wait.
She says, all right, I'll throw on about 50 more bacon pancakes, and then I'll get to cooking the meat.
Can't believe you haven't said making bacon pancakes once.
You know how hard it's been? It doesn't exist in this world? Come on. In character. Yeah, and she says, well, if that's the case, I'll and she like yells up the stairs, Barnacle, we gotta get cooking. We got a big old purchase made down here. And Barnacle comes down and he says, where's the waitress? Is she not coming in today? And Hattie's like, I don't know, she's late, who knows? And they both get busy at the stove, prepping and just constantly putting things in the oven. It's very full all the time, getting this all ready.
Bula just realizes that she's sitting there and there's just like a little puddle of drool just like collecting on on the counter in front of her.
Yeah, Hattie's cooking is always good, but the place has not smelled like this before. It is every kind of food, savory, sweet. She's got it all cooking. She literally is just doubling their typical menu and going in for you. Bula
just like almost cannot handle it. Just like leaning over the counter, just more and more. just a little bit of drool. Just
Barnacle makes sure to keep a full meat in front of you, so you've got something. You and your meat. All right, she says, really, we could have all this ready in like, I don't know, like 3 hours if it's going to be anything of my quality. So, if you wanted to come back and pick it up, or if you want to wait around, I don't care, whatever you want to do. But I'll just have you pay up after it's all done.
should we just go around and tell people to come here to eat, and that way they can also make maybe some food for drink, and that way they can all be in a centralized location and we can question people while we're doing it?
I don't
I
know
would
that
be
everyone.
concerned that if we invite everyone here, then people who might not need it as much might try to sneak in for a free meal.
Yes, but also I don't know that everybody's gonna. If you don't go to people, sometimes they're not gonna admit that they need help and come to get it.
She says, that's astute, Bula. Yeah, people in Tuzank are proud. There's a reason they call it the center of the world. I think it'd be best if you showed up on their doorstep rather than trying to get them to haul it out here where they definitely won't fit in.
I had an uncle with one leg, and he wouldn't even ask help to climb a ladder. I mean, come on. We need to go to them.
And
So
while we have a little bit of time, then should we head up near the treasury house, just kind of inspect the general area, not just a little investigating around the area.
Just look
I
at it.
mean,
that sounds wonderful.
sounds
go look
like a
at
good
it.
idea.
As they're kind of filing out, Bula just like reaches over the counter and just like, while Hattie's not looking, snatches like a bacon pancake, shoves it in her mouth real fast. It's kind of too hot. And she's like,
You were
So
keeping
worth
your
it.
eyes on Hattie, but Barnacle is just sitting there watching. He's just like, yeah.
she sees that Barnacle's looking at him, and she just gives him a.
He goes,
It's like, you tell on me, I will bite you.
he immediately gets back to work.
She's just like licking her fingers on the way out the door.
Incredible. Okay, so you said you wanted to go check out the neighborhood around, where did you say, around his house?
The treasurer's house, yeah.
Parents' house. Okay, fabulous. You head out, and it's, like she said, it's not far at all. You just kind of follow the perimeter of Tuzank Hall and make it to the other side, go 3 blocks northeast, and like she said, it is this, like, tall, 2-story, beautiful white stone building that is, like, weather-worn more than the buildings around it. Like, is clearly kind of site zero of city building a long, long, long time ago. It is just like a single family house, however. While it's tall and big and lavish looking, it's not massive. It doesn't appear to have any use other than House of the Treasurer. What would you like to do once you have it in your sights?
While everyone else is going to go around, like, looking around, I would like to sit down, and I'm going to start my ritual for Detect Magic.
Okay. That's gonna take you 10 minutes, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And you're just where are you gonna run this ritual?
Probably, like, right in front of the front door.
Perfect.
Incredible. Okay. It's still, you've all gotten used to kind of waking up early, so it's still like 10 a.m., give or take. And the house, you've sat down right outside the front door on the road, and you're casting this ritual, and the few people, neighbors who are leaving for the morning, give you weird looks, very confusedly. But they're ever polite, ever proper, so they know better than to ask untoward questions, but they're giving you very strange looks. And Seraphina, you kind of clock, like, you're like, oh my god, we're gonna be the gossip of the town for a minute. Great. What do the rest of you
She hides
do?
her face.
Yeah.
So
Zata.
go ahead, Zata. Go ahead.
No, go for it. No, go ahead, Killian.
All
I
right.
insist.
So the treasurer's house, you kind of mentioned it's like a single family home. How is it in terms of, like, I don't know, how expensive does it look? Does it look expensive, this house? Or is it, like you said, kind of weathered and not as nice as maybe the surrounding houses?
Okay, so yeah, it is weathered in that, like, it's clearly been standing for a long time. However, it has been well maintained. Like, it doesn't look weathered in the fact that, like, nothing appears to be leaking. Places where the stone has broken over time has been well repaired with equal or greater value materials. There's this, like, little sitting area out front on this nice little patio with some very nice looking patio furniture. There's an area around to the side that you see that has a horse and a pig and just some chickens running around, like it has its own little livestock area. And it's right up against the river, and there's a dock with a ship docked, and it appears to be like a single private dock. So it does appear to be, it appears that there's wealth on the property, in the property.
So I'm just gonna try to climb a roof.
Any
Whose
roof?
roof?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He wants to get a better look at the treasurer's place.
Remember that the treasurer was paying city guard to personally watch his home.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Oh my gosh.
Zata's got a 9 int, man, or 8 int. He's just like, I'm gonna get a better layout. And then you guys let him climb the roof last time for catching a cat, so he thinks this is perfectly fine.
Mm. We facilitated this behavior.
We did.
We're enabling this.
Mhm.
All right, Zata, you're gonna climb a neighbor's house. You find one that has like a nice like metal drain pipe, big long drain pipe from the roof. This house isn't as tall as the Tuzank house. Like, it appears Tuzank's house, like, it has clearly 2 stories of windows, but like clearly high ceilings inside, so it just is naturally a little bit taller than the others. Roll for me a athletics check to see how you climb this 2-story building.
Is he literally just shimmying up a drain pipe?
That's what I
Yeah.
figured. With his big
13.
old paws.
I got a 13.
13, okay. You make it like 3/4 of the way up when the drain pipe starts to like creak away from the stone, and everybody below hears this. Roll a dex save for me to see if you can climb onto a window ledge instead.
19.
19. You hear it immediately, and you're like, oh, and you cling on to, with your cat claws, your lion claws, this window ledge. And you manage to, like, get all 4 feet onto the ledge, and you, like, boost yourself up this last 8 feet. Luckily, you're tall, and you're cat-like, not a cat. And you manage to shimmy your way up this last couple feet onto the roof, and you perch there on all 4s, looking very much the cat, who will not fall.
Don't fall.
All right. And you're just gonna try and take a peek at the manor?
Yeah, take a look, see what I can see from there. Get a good layout.
Okay, great. From this height and moving around the roof a little bit as much as you can, you do manage to get a pretty good view actually into an open window on the 2nd floor. This window leads to an armory of sorts. Like, it's well lit with like magic wall sconces, and there's just like a small variety of like what looks to be, you've seen quite a few of the Copper Cloaks now, just the general weaponry of the Copper Cloaks that anybody in the city with arms might own. But he has a whole room for these things, so a couple suits of armor, some daggers, battle axe, mace, a couple swords that you can see. Shuffling around, you look in another window, the window next to it, and you see like a bathroom door and a sink in that room. That's all you can kind of see from this angle.
How hard would it be to get onto his roof from this roof?
Oh, it's a solid 25-foot gap with the street below.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah, nothing. I can do it.
You're gonna make me do jumping mechanics right now? Evil. Evil.
Remember jumping?
Jumping and falling? Incredible.
Jumping
My
and
favorite
falling.
roles.
The best rolls.
Need more
This
wine.
is about to become a rescue mission because he's going to go straight through the roof. You are a tiny person.
So if I use my spear like a pole vault, just get some
gonna-
extra distance.
Okay. Okay.
God.
All right. You're on this roof. It's not
Mhm.
only 25 feet across from his roof, but about 10 feet lower than his roof. You're going to try to use a spear to pole
Mhm.
vault from your roof
Mhm.
up and over. So effectively 30 feet,
Yeah.
35 feet, really. Okay. That's going to be a high DC.
Oh, we were just looking.
Killian's
You all,
gonna,
He's
you
just
all
looking.
see him disappear up on this
Yeah.
roof from the road. Marway's still ritualing.
Killian's gonna like lean over to Bula and it's like, he's not gonna, he's not going to do this, is he? What's he doing up there?
Bula looks at him and says, I'll bet you a couple glasses of mead he doesn't make it.
Can I also get on the bet? Can we just bet the same thing? Because I do not think he's gonna make this either. If he's planning on doing what I think he's doing.
Yeah.
I guess that defeats the purpose of a bet, but yeah, basically he's not going to make it.
I feel like we're gonna need to have a lot of drinks anyways afterwards. So
You're not wrong, my friend.
And with that, you hear the unmistakable sound of him coming down this sloped roof from the tip of it. Just giant paws. Kung, 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 kung. And you hear the tip of the spear go in. You see him appear with this spear. Zata, roll another athletics.
Oh my gosh.
No problem. I have no athletics anymore, guys, so this will be fine.
It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, 8.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
mhm.
Incredible, incredible. Yep, we're all having mead
Yep.
tonight. Yeah. The spear tip, instead of catching on the edge of the roof, just like slides right off of it, so that as soon as you put all your weight on it, you and the spear go down. Spear first, then hands, then head, then feet toward the street below.
Cool.
Oh god.
Oh, but here's the
And-
real test. Does he land on his feet? Because if so, tapped.
We're about to find something for tap. Yeah, I was gonna say something totally different, but roll a deck save to see if you can land on your feet. You're still gonna take damage. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. 15.
Okay.
He's got acrobatics,
No.
though, guys. He doesn't have athletics. He's got acrobatics.
No, you are doing a nosedive to the street. In this moment, you think, "Am I a cat?" As your body just instinctually, and you land on your two lower feet, and you're gonna take. I do a little math.
Points of knee damage. Yeah.
Knee damage.
Knee damage.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Everyone over 30 relates.
I was gonna say
Oh my
it's gonna be your 30th birthday when your knees finally give out. 16 points of bludgeoning
Ooh.
damage.
Holy
He's
You
at
land on
1
your
HP.
Oh boy.
He's at
You're
1
down to
HP.
Yep.
1. I only have 17 HP. 16 is.
Heck.
But that, folks, is how we lost our first character.
He's fine.
Your feet do hit first, but the rest of you crumble to the ground. What's the first thing Zata says once he catches his breath after this?
What does he say? He doesn't say anything. He just shakes it off like it doesn't happen, and then he just keeps walking, and then he casts Cure Wounds on himself as he walks. He's-
He's
I
got,
also
like-
speak of.
At
I see
least one broken toenail.
Oh no.
That's what the Cure Wounds for. Just heal it. It's fine.
Bring through your claws. Yeah, there
Feel
is
better,
like
Zata?
a claw left.
Mm-hmm.
Good. I'm glad we got that out of our system.
Literally, all of us are just standing in the street in front of the
Just
house, going like,
in the front door.
just watching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and at this point, like as
Right.
you're walking back towards the group, a Copper Cloak comes around the corner, and just as Maraway goes, It is done! And your magic detecting aura zooms out around you. What do you do?
I'm mainly just trying to see if I can find this magic, like if the house is magic, or if like the doormat is magic.
Doormat. Yeah, okay. How far is the radius of detect magic?
I want to say it's 60 or 30. Hold on.
30.
30.
That sounds correct.
30 feet. Okay, you catch from the front door. Let me measure. A few magical auras. Nothing like crazy within the 30 feet of you. Do you get to know the school of magic when you cast detect magic?
Yes, I do.
That's what I thought. It appears.
Real quick though, what is this house made of?
What is the house made of?
Yes.
The outside appears to be stone. Just looking through the front door and the windows, the inside has like wood walls and wood floors, but the outside is this gray stone that the rest of the city is made out of.
Excellent. Just wanted to make sure I could see through it.
Yes. You you just catch a little bit of evocation magic. Little sparks of it.
Well, there's definitely something magic inside this house, but I don't really know what it is.
Is that Copper Cloak coming at us?
Yeah, at this point, he's just kind of like stopped and is watching you all. It's just like,
We're just standing there awkwardly staring at the house.
yeah. He says, sightseeing, are we?
Something like that. Yeah. Is the treasurer home?
Nope. He's usually at Tuzank Hall by now. If you're looking for him, or any other city official, you should probably make an appointment. I suggest you keep it moving. We don't allow loitering in this neighborhood.
Now you had to excuse us. We're new to town, so we didn't know we had an appointment. We had to make an appointment.
Yeah, I can tell you're new to town. All right. Let's move it along then, folks. I don't really have the energy today to deal with rabble and rousers. So, let's go. He quite literally like brushes you all along.
We wanted to make an appointment to visit. What's this guy's name? Herron?
Herron.
Lord Herron.
Yeah. If we wanted to make an appointment to visit Herron in his home, where would we do that?
Tuzank Hall is the place where the people work. So I'd suggest you go there. It's actually the big one. Right there, and he just points up behind you. It's like, that's...
Well, you said that like it was obvious.
Yeah.
My bad, I guess it's not.
Ugh,
Please, folks, go on to Tuzank Hall. It's where the city officials go.
I hate this guard.
He's definitely not a cool guard.
This is not the cool guard.
Cool.
This guy's not a good
He's the
time.
uncool guard.
Yeah, what a square this guard is. Well, we thank you for your service. As we were saying, we're just admiring this beautiful home, trying to see if we can catch him. We'll take the proper routes and make an appointment.
Yep, that's what you gotta do. You just can't do it here. Let's go. He kind of brushes you along as he walks through.
Nice.
Well, what
Yep.
are we going to do now?
He says, go to
I can-
Tuzank Hall and make an appointment.
I could literally punch him out. Is that what we should do?
No.
Sir, I admire how active you are in our conversation, but I wasn't really talking to you at that point. Thank you for your commentary.
Where are you all from? What is going on?
You go two steps down past the river, and then you jump into a mushroom patch, and then you show up there, and everything is dark and scary.
I don't get paid enough for this shit. Go back to there then. Come on. At this point, he's like, that way, Tuzank Hall. Can't miss it. I'm continuing on my route, and he goes down the opposite way. He's like, I'm sick of this shit. As long as you guys are moving on from the house, he's moving on.
Do we do that?
I mean, go on
Do we
now.
move on from the house?
We could either break into this house or go to City Hall. Right?
Well, breaking in is not really a nice thing to do, so we probably shouldn't do that.
It's not breaking in if we're just trying to find things of people if he's doing wrong, and then if he's not, then it's perfectly fine.
Yes.
How is it not breaking in?
Because if he's a bad person, it doesn't really count as breaking in, is it?
Yes, it does!
Huh? We're stealing from the stealers.
Breaking in.
It's a net zero.
I mean, you gotta do what you have to do, right? I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing.
Oh, look at you, the voice of reason.
Oh my gosh, we were just supposed to be looking. We got to get back to Hattie anyways and all that food.
How much time is this taking?
An hour.
An hour?
An hour. We still got 2 hours.
Let's go talk to him.
I can just go quickly scout out the rest of the house.
I hate to be the one that has to bring this up, but what happened last time you tried to scout to the house?
I was trying to jump. I'm actually much more stealthier.
You mean like 5 minutes ago?
I wasn't trying to be stealthy. I was just trying to get to the other roof.
Well, we've alerted the guard.
Idea.
Sorry.
I don't think it's a wise idea to try to break in. We've already got them on the bad mood, so we should probably try not to be on their bad mood.
Oh, that guard was born with a bad mood. I'd like to show him what's
I mean, he's just really uncool. We could I could just avoid him. And if he
Does
comes
he
back,
not,
just
like-
punch him.
Does he not realize we have 2 presents with us?
Oh, yes. We do have the best presents, I hear. Well, actually, why don't we just go to their house and say that we're just trying to announce that your presence is, and then we can just accidentally open the house.
Well, that would be breaking in, but put more
That's
nicely.
literally breaking in.
No, we're just announcing that we have presents.
And we will force our way into there to put ourselves below the fireplace.
Well, maybe
I mean, the
we
windows
don't-
are open.
Maybe we don't break the law to try to save the law.
What's the difference?
Oh, not again.
Well, one of us makes us the same as them.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Oh, that was easy.
Killian, what do you think? Should we go speak to him at City Hall, or would you like to break into this home of a city official?
The windows are open. We don't have to break anything.
It's not literal. If you enter without permission, it's called breaking in.
Oh, okay.
Well, I wonder how long it might take to get an appointment with this Lord Herron, because we don't even know what this gentleman looks like. Maybe it might be a good idea to know what he looks like first.
I'm assuming the people at City Hall know what he looks like, and we can just ask him where his office is.
Couldn't we just ask the captain of the
But-
guard?
What are we gonna do once we get an appointment with him?
We'll feign interest.
Interrogate
in-
him?
No. What if we feign...
Maybe we should just get a feel for him.
Oh,
Well, maybe
Guess that's too.
what we do, we have 2 rather well-dressed people with us. Maybe they are planning on moving to Zankin with all of their wealth that they may or may not have, and see what this person can do for them, maybe, if they were to bring their wealth into the city. Maybe that
I
way
mean-
we can get some kind of, questions or answers out of this person.
Well, I don't know how me and Zata are going to convince him, but I guess we could go with that plan.
Right. We may have to make sure all the blood is off of Zata from his fall first, but maybe I was
I
thinking
landed
more
exactly how I wanted to.
I might be
What are you
thinking more of
talking about?
Seraphina and Eidos.
Well, that does make a little bit more sense.
They are the
Bula just-
presence.
The presence. Bula just pats him on his head.
I mean, that's of
Okay.
course if you two are comfortable with that.
Oh, I'm comfortable with anything.
It,
I know my way around a governmental hall.
and I mean, it seemed like the current leader of Tuzankin is at least aware of your family, Seraphina.
Yes, I do remember. And she looks over at Eidos smugly.
Quite so. Yes. Why don't we make our way to City Hall and feign some business with him? One of you can get a feel for his aura or whatever we're doing, and we'll just see what he looks like when he's going to be home, and maybe get some answers that way.
It sounds like
That's
a
reasonable
good
to
a
me.
plan as any.
To City Hall.
I could stay here and keep an eye out. I don't like that cramped place. It's really tiny.
You just bought
I
those
like it.
important pants. Don't you want to put them to use?
The
Not
formal
unless I have to.
loincloth.
The formal loincloth. Not unless I have to. And I didn't really bring them. They're in the inn. I didn't bring them with us. I didn't expect us to go to see more elders.
You were wearing your breaking into place pants, were you?
This is kind of a everyday attire, kind of a fits all situations, kind of a loincloth.
This is your active wear. Got it.
We do need to be close, though. Just in case they get in trouble and they need some muscle. Yes, you too, Markway. We need your muscle, too.
Sure, if that's what you guys want. I much prefer not to be in that enclosed place, but if you wish to, yeah, I can take.
We don't have to go in. We just have to stay close.
Oh, thank God. I mean, thank Harry. Yeah, I can stay outside. That's fine.
All right. You're all heading toward Tuzank Hall, then? Fantastic. Okay. You make your way there. You've been there before. You give the guards, who appear to be the same ones as the day before when you went and were knighted the Champions of the Flowers. They recognize you immediately, and having spoken to Captain Barnard about you, they just let you pass on by. And you head on in to the familiar, well, some of you, I believe, head on in to the familiar entry hall. However, you've really only been to the kind of, like, receiving room, which is where you were, quote-unquote, like, knighted the champions. So you find yourself sort of standing there wondering where to check in, make appointments.
Right, are we
who all
only
is staying
sending
outside?
Seraphina and Eidos in? Everyone else is staying out, is that correct?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna stay out. Anybody else can go in. I just don't want to go in.
I think it'd be better if we all went in. I mean, except for Zata if you don't want to.
What if we had 2 stay outside, 2 go into, like, the lobby area, and then you 2 kind of go forward? So we're close.
That sounds good to me.
I don't mind waiting on the interior.
Okay.
I'll go inside too.
Bula does not like letting Mara away out of her sight.
I can stay out here by myself, but you can stay with Marley and protect them. I can catch up to anybody very quickly.
Bula also does not like leaving by himself to his own devices. That has not proven to be the smartest thing ever. You do not leave a fox in a chicken house.
I promise I won't go anywhere. I will stay here until you return.
You
I
can
do
stay
keep my
out there
word.
with Imbula. What's the worst that can happen? It's just a party room full of pretty people.
So many terrible things. So many terrible things, Marway.
I do promise I will stay out here this entire time. I will not
Okay.
go anywhere else.
Compromise, because
Hmm.
Bula does. She's starting to trust Killian. Okay, so she's gonna stay in the doorway where she can see Marway and Killian, and she can see Zata, and she's gonna tell Marway, stay with Killian.
Okay.
Okay.
And with this
And
very
Killian, you notice like he like inches over next to you, almost where his like arm is touching your arm.
Like Killian just kind of like moves to the side as you like just keep getting closer to him.
As you like look down at him, he's just like looking at you with like the puppy dog eyes.
And with this awkward agreement, we're gonna take a 10-minute break. We will be back at about 45 after the hour.
Awkward Agreement is the name of this episode, by the way.
That's good.
I like it.
Okay, we'll be back at 45 after the hour. See you in a minute. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for waiting through the break. We are very excited to say that we have been working on a plan to learn more about the economic status of the people in the city Tuzank. The party has staked out the house of the treasurer, Lord Herron, quasi-successfully, with a bit of a roof-jumping incident by the resident not cat, Zata. They've decided to head over to Tuzank Hall, the official city hall and home of the High Counselor who they've met before, Lord Tuzank, in order to try and get a feel for this Lord Herron. They're really trying to make an educated decision about whether they're going to help the Thieves Guild bring him down, or whether they're going to stick with the city officials and go a different direction. So that being said, the party has split, which as a DM, love to see it. And some of the group are heading into Tuzank Hall while some others wait outside as potential backup. So we'll go with the party inside. You make your way into Tuzank Hall. Through the entryway, you pass the receiving room that you've seen before, and you manage to find the next room in is sort of what looks like more of a clerical office. So that, where there's a few people working, a few women and men working on different paperwork things, and each having a desk, and one of them looks up as soon as they see you all walk in. And she says, hello, welcome to Tuzank Hall. Do you have an appointment?
No, we don't. But we are here to see Lord Herron.
Lord Herron, okay. And she opens up a date book and flips through to today and runs a finger down the list and says, I'm afraid Lord Herron's morning is quite full today for his office hours. We could do, and she flips back page after page after page and runs a finger down his page and page, and she says, how is 3 weeks from today?
It's not great, I'll be honest with you. You see, we're here on business, and I think they would have a special interest in what we're up to. Is there any way we can expedite this appointment?
She says, you want us to expedite you because you're up to something?
Because we have
The two other
business.
clerks kind of look up, suspicious. Up to business. Okay. Flips back through. She says, "Can I have a name? A name? Are you in his contact list?"
No, we're new in town. He doesn't know us yet. But
Oh.
he will be very glad to, I assure you.
This is gonna sound rude, but how did you get in here?
Well, we've already done the city quite a few favors, you see, and we've made friends with Lord Tuzank himself, so they just let us in. Apparently he thought a little more highly of us than you do right now.
So as Eidos and the secretary are talking, Seraphina will cast Charm Person.
And you can only cast that on one person at a time, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You do that. Does that require a roll on my part?
Yeah, it's
Wisdom save?
yeah, she needs to make a wisdom save.
That's an 11.
Okay, I think Seraphina's I think she needs to get 13. Yeah.
Okay, so she immediately says, "You know, I like the cut of your jib. I'm gonna see what I can do." And she starts flipping back toward the current date. Meanwhile, you clock one of the other clerks, immediately looks at the other and rushes out a back entrance.
Noted.
the first clerk flips back and she's like, "Well, listen, I'm so sorry. He is in appointments currently, but you know Lord Tuzank. So, would you like a meeting with Lord Tuzank? He should be waking up from his, finishing his meeting appointment soon. Would you like to meet with him instead?"
Is there no way to meet with Lord Herron for today? Is there just anything you can do?
I mean, she turns around and she looks at the other clerk and she's like, "Okay, between appointments, can you keep it like 3 minutes? That's all he has."
So short. 2 minutes.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, all right. It seems important. It seems like you really need a meeting, so I'm gonna go ahead and like sneak you in there in like 20 minutes. He'll be finishing between appointments and you can get in there, say hey. That's it though. And then I don't want to lose my job, so like be cool, be fast, okay?
We'll be so cool and so fast.
Okay.
Coolest and fastest.
Wonderful. Okay. I'm gonna have you wait on the benches down the hall to the left. When you see an old man with a purple beard come out, go in the door that he leaves from. Okay, and that's Herron's office.
Perfect.
Don't tell him I sent you.
Thank you so
None
much
of the
for your
word.
help.
Oh, you're so welcome. Have a great day. Let me know if you need anything else.
Thanks.
She goes back to work.
Make our way to the benches. As we walk, I'll kind of lean over to Seraphina and say, "We don't have a game plan for this at all, do we?"
It was just all vibes.
Well, I mean, yeah, that was great. That was inspired. I'm impressed. But I guess we'll just say hi to Herron. I'll think of something. Unless, do you want to take lead?
No.
Oh, okay, great. That's perfect. I'll do it. And
Yeah.
I will go stand by the bench. I'm not sitting on a public bench.
Seraphina hovers over the bench. Her core is really strong.
Killian and Marway are inside the, like, we can see Seraphina and Eidos just talk to the clerical people, right?
Oh, they would have gone into an office to talk to the clerical people.
Okay.
So you saw them go in an office, spend a couple minutes, saw them walk back out, further down the hall, take a left. And so they're out of sight again. Not super far, but they're out of sight.
They
Okay.
would be within like earshot though, right?
If they were loud enough, yeah. They're well down a pretty long hallway. Okay, 20 minutes passes, you're kicking your feet. At one point, this, like, Copper Cloak comes and just stands near the entrance of the office that you're waiting outside of. And, like, constantly glances over at you. Like, clearly having heard there are some weirdos casting magic in City Hall. But not quite ready to arrest you for anything yet.
Can we help you?
Can I help you?
No, we're here to see Herron. I just noticed you were glancing over here. Do you want an autograph?
She says, I could care less about your signature.
But you certainly care about us in some fashion. I assure you we're not up to any ill doing. Is that what people say?
I guess that's good to hear, but forgive me if I don't take your word for it. All I can hear is that there's mages in the building doing some weird magic, and I'm to keep an eye on you.
We're not mages. But yes, I assure you, we're not up to any bad doings.
He's like, okay. I'll take your word on that, but don't mind me if I just stand here and keep an eye.
And
Have
we'll
you
keep an eye on you.
Damn, I was gonna flirt with her first. You're always flirting with people before I can get them, Seraphina.
Roll a persuasion, Seraphina.
When in doubt, flirt.
It's a superpower.
That is our go-to.
Or Eidos.
All right.
I just want to be loved.
Seraphina rolls a 13.
A 13. He does not wink back. He's just like,
I wink at him?
oh.
Maybe, you know?
Roll persuasion with advantage.
Oh. Gotta figure it out.
Found it.
Alright. Let me pull this up. Persuasion. Oh, that's either a 1.
Oh.
Jesus. 12 with my +5. For a total of 12. Yeah. Dang.
He blushes, but does not wink back. Immediately looks away, like up at the ceiling. I didn't notice that there's a leak. He's trying real hard to be professional. All right, just a few more minutes pass, and just as the charmed clerk told you, the door swings open to this other, like these big double doors, one of which swings open, and out walks this old man with a like natural wood cane and a hunchback and a long purple beard. It goes like crotchety by. Gives the guard a wave as he continues out of the building. And the door is left open. What do you do?
I nod at the guard and make my way in.
He says,
Sir.
I'll be here when you're done.
Absolutely.
And you both walk in?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You walk in, and it's this kind of like double-roomed office. There's like a little initial like meeting room style, and then an actual like office desk set up further back. And you see in the back office, there's a man standing behind the desk. He's this like balding, middle-aged human man, and he picks up a stone off of the desk, like a physical, round, smooth stone, and says into it, Becca, I have like 3 minutes to eat before my next appointment. Can you please bring me just like a rack of lamb or whatever's being served outside, please? Thank you. Puts it back down.
3 minutes for a whole rack of lamb? I do not want to see that. That's not enough time.
He looks up at hearing
I do not say that. That was above the table. Ugh.
Please have said that out loud.
It's gonna need some wet wipes stat. I'll clear my throat and say, Lord Herron, pleasure to make your acquaintance. We just wanted to introduce ourselves quickly. We know you don't have a lot of time. I am Ada Snow White, and this is my sister, Seraphina. And, we are looking to move to the beautiful city of Tuzank. And in fact, we come from some considerable wealth and wanted to start a charitable organization. We'll call it the Saints of Tuzank. And And it's one of those philanthropic things you've heard it a million times, just helping the needy, helping the poor. But it's a great place to put our money, if you know what I mean. And yeah, so we're just like I said, want to introduce ourselves and maybe get an appointment with you in the next few days, and see if you'd be interested in doing us something this endeavor.
He, like, while you were speaking, he pulls out a ledger and puts on some glasses and reads through it, and he's like, I thought my 11 o'clock appointment was with a shop owner. You're not my 11 o'clock appointment.
No, like I said, we're just here for a quick introduction between appointments.
I need to fire my clerk. Anyway.
Your clerk did a fantastic job. We may have name dropped Lord Tuzank to meet with you. We were very excited to meet with you. So any wrongdoing on her part, I'm sure is just up due to our persuasion.
Incredible. All right. Yes, all right. You have 2 minutes to sell me on this philanthropic endeavor. I can't sign off on any non-taxable businesses without the proper paperwork being done. So he pulls out a few forms and lays them on top of his ledger, and he says, you say this is going to be a charitable something or other. Who exactly are you working to give charity to, and how?
Oh, just anybody who needs it. The needy, the downtrodden, all that sort of thing. And food, clothes. That's not really the point, though. It isn't. With these kinds of things, it's more just something for us to do with our funds. Yes, it would be a way of, how do we put this lightly, of keeping our money in a safe place while still putting it to some good use. Tax-free.
Roll persuasion with advantage.
I'm really kind of showing my ass when it comes to stuff like this. I don't know if that actually works. But you say persuasion with advantage?
Mm-hmm.
That's either a 10 or it's 10. That was another natural one, and I'm throwing this dice out. Yeah.
He looks over the top of his glasses at you and says, son, you're not the first person to come to me with this sort of business proposal. Certainly not the last person who will use the law for their financial advantage. However, the proper paperwork has to be done in the right order, and just coming to me to sell it, it's both above and below my pay grade. So I'm gonna need you to make an appointment with this name, and jots down a name, scribbles, and puts it across the desk at you, and says, of course I would love to help, however, there's red tape all over the city, so follow the correct procedure and we can maybe do business.
Does this guy seem on the level? Like, is he sweating at all, or is he composed?
Roll insight.
Yeah.
Use a different dice.
Seraphina, you can too. You're on.
It's over there. I gotta. If this is less than 10, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna get new dice. Oh, that was a D8. Idiot. It was 10. So I did say, and it did deliver. Thanks.
Seraphina rolls
Alright.
a 17.
17.
There it is.
Ados, you're trying to read him, but you're like, you yourself are sweating a little because you yourself are like, I have no idea how charities work. What am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
Seraphina, you are very chill behind just observing. He doesn't seem fazed by anything except the fact that someone is taking up his 3 minutes of brunch time, essentially. And he doesn't seem all that, concerned about whether or not you get to start this charity organization.
Okay, so I think Seraphina is going to lean over and say, I think what my brother's trying to say is that all of us could potentially benefit from this endeavor. Monetarily or otherwise.
Oh.
Not otherwise. Not otherwise. Only- not for me.
I was gonna say roll persuasion with advantage, but I'm just gonna say roll persuasion flat because she lost the thread halfway through that.
She rolls a 20. Not a natural 20.
Dirty 20.
30-20.
Very specific fantasy 20. Okay. He, with that persuasion roll, you kind of catch a little sparkle of it in his eye of money to be made, and realizing that maybe you two are cut from the same cloth, and just not quite as skilled at this as he's come to be. And he says, "All right, give me that name back. That's not who you're gonna want to talk to." Jots down a different name and says, "The tax codes in the city quite favor people who set up shop in this neighborhood." And writes down a specific neighborhood and a different name of someone you should talk to. And he says, "Quid pro quo. Once you see the fruits of your labor, you come back here, you make an actual appointment during a time that's not my lunch, and we'll talk a little bit more about how we can help each other out."
Perfect. Thank you, Lord Herron. It was truly a pleasure making your acquaintance. I hope that we can work together.
He stands up and goes to shake your hands just as two dwarves walk into the room and yell, "Herron, my boy!" And they shake big meaty hands, and he gives you a nod of dismissal.
I'll bow and head out.
Seraphina curtsies and follows Eidos.
As soon as we're out of the door, well, actually, as soon as we're out of the door, I'll turn and look at that guard and say, "Thank you so much for making that easy for us. What is your name?"
It's Callum.
Alan. Nice. Maybe we'll meet again, Alan.
It's Callum. Okay, that's fine. Go. Bye. Blushes harder.
As we walk away, I'll lean over to Seraphina and say, "God, thank you so much for saving our ass." And what does it say on the paper? What name?
It says Dixon Connal.
Dixon Connal?
Dixon. Last name Connal. Connal. And the neighborhood he told you to set up in is I'll know it in a second.
The district.
Neighborhood, yes. The West Docks neighborhood is where he said that the tax benefits are decent.
Did he seem, was he dressed richly? Or was it kind of just normal city official stuff?
It was very much like city official stuff, which is fancy. Like, it is, he was wearing today, like, the sky blue of Lena Myrna, along with, like, some white and silver fabrics, accenting it.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we'll make our way to meet Maraway and Killian in the foyer.
Yeah, you do so. You hear, as you're passing by the clerk's office, you hear the three clerks inside, a man and two women, just arguing, being like, why? You're gonna get us all fired. And she's like, I don't know, I liked them. I think they did some weird magic stuff to me. I can't help it. They were both so cute. And their voices kind of fade away as you're walking by. You hear the argument, and you kind of speed by, covering your faces. And you meet back up with Marway and Killian and Bula waiting for you.
Well, they're not being escorted by Copper Cloaks, so I'll take that as a good sign.
Yeah.
I had nothing but faith in them.
went about as well as I hoped it would. We didn't really get much out of him except for this name, and I'll hand over the paper to Killian. It says to meet with him to... Oh God, what do you say to meet with him for? I'm sorry.
We can get tax breaks if we set up our shop in the West Docks.
Yeah, and why were we supposed to meet Dixon?
He was just gonna help you, like, fill out the appropriate non-profit charitable
Gotcha.
work.
Okay. But other than that, he seemed like any other city official.
He didn't seem as slimy as an overcooked okra.
Oh, he was slimy, certainly, but no slimier than anybody else in this building.
And what did he look like?
I can go ahead and describe. He is a human, middle-aged man, maybe in his early 50s. Balding. Looked like at one time he was probably relatively handsome. But now he's kind of like, gone a little saggy in the jowls. He's got lots of crow's feet, some worry lines across his forehead. Pretty clean shaven. Pretty stern looking overall.
Crotchety dude.
Crotchety dude.
What were you gonna say, Seraphina?
He did offer to meet with us later to discuss details of other opportunities, so maybe at that time we could dig a little bit deeper.
Well, maybe we have a little conversation with this Dixon fellow.
I think that would be our next move, yeah. What time is it now?
It's like 11:30, give or take, almost noon. You're getting close to, your food will be about ready soon. If you wanted to get it while it was hot.
Okay.
That's all I can think about.
Alright, well, we'll go outside to, Are you in here with us, Bula?
Yeah, y'all came out. We're kind of all like...
I didn't know if
you're
you're
okay.
outside with Zata.
I'm in the doorway so that I can see both.
Probably all like walking out at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like we're kind of gathered back.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Where would you like to head next?
I mean, my vote is always going to be to the food.
Food, give it to the people. Suppose.
Mhm.
Shady businessman.
Are we gonna go punch the shady businessman?
We might be able to. Depends on how slimy he is.
Finally, something other than talking.
All right, you head back across essentially back across the square to the Buoyant Banshee, where Barnacle and Hattie are finally sitting down, their feet up. Like, there's tables to be served, some people in for lunch that they're just like, they can wait. Like, we need a break. They've been cooking all morning over a hot stove, and there's just like quite literal like crates and covered trays of food set up on like all of the smaller tables and half of one of the long tables. And Hattie's like, well, we ended up using a little bit more food than we intended, but I'm being honest, we were kind of having fun. That was a nice challenge. We should throw some banquets sometime. Maybe we should... She looks at Barnacle and she's like, maybe we should do weddings here. And he's like, weddings are a good moneymaker. You get like the music and the food, and people will throw money at an open bar. Like, let's do... They're both like... But they're both like wiping sweat from their faces, and they're like, anyway, it's there. Just 30 gold is what we worked out, so just leave it behind the counter and forgive us for not helping you. And it looks like finally the waitress has showed up, and she's single-handedly kind of running food in and out for the few customers that are there outside of you.
Well, we better get the move on if we're going to get all this food to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't forget to pay them their way. I'll get these bags, and we'll be on our way.
Maraway like looks into his little coin purse, and it is completely empty because he just bought some some bracelets to put on his horns.
Like a literal moth flies out of it.
So Zata will come up behind Morroway and just hand him 30 gold and be like, "Here you go."
It's almost like, you know, when a parent will hand a kid the money so that they can pay. There you go, and he's just gonna slap it down.
Love it. The coins just like splatter across the bar. And you all start grabbing crates as much as you can. Hattie says, oh, there's like a wagon and a donkey. We went ahead and just threw that in. Like, we just rented them for you. So go ahead and load it up and take it where you need it. Just make sure it comes back by nightfall so that we don't get charged extra.
Oh, very nice of you, Hattie. You didn't have to do that.
She says, anything for our newest and best customers. Honestly, this is gonna... We could take a week off. And Barnacle's like, yeah, we should travel. We've always talked about that. And she's like, yeah, we could finally go to Erin. We could go to the coast if we... And he's like, oh my god, that sounds nice. Beach weekend. And she's like, beach weekend. And they're planning their vacation.
Start backing slowly out of the door, lest I be drawn in.
Bula starts picking up big crates and carrying them out to the wagon. And every time she picks one up, she just like... just a bite here that she just wants to make sure that it's good enough for the people they're gonna serve and it's not poisoned, or she just making sure.
Just checking.
Just has to
Right.
has to sample the goods.
All right, you all spend the next 15 minutes loading up the wagon. It is weighed down well with food. Even the donkey's like, oh, this is gonna be rough. Morroway, your empathy for animals. You're like, this is gonna be a heavy one, buddy. And where would you all like to take your wagon full of food?
We go straight to the south side. That's where Hattie said it was the worst, I think, right?
Well, maybe we keep it within the city walls. Maybe we go to Freebridge instead. It seems like this donkey can only take so long of a journey. Plus
Sounds good to me.
Plus, she did say there's some rather unsavory characters out there, so let's not put ourselves in any sort of danger if we don't have to.
You're just taking all the fun out of this, Killian.
Taking all the fun out of charity work, am I?
Not very fun in the first place. If there's at least a fight that can be had, at least it'll be more interesting.
Well, you might have to fight Bula to keep her away from the food, so there you go.
I'm not taking on that fight. Bula can have as much food as she wants.
Smart answer.
Bula. Now you know, Bula, this is for people who don't get to eat very much. We need to save it for them.
Oh, I know. I want to feed the people. I just want to make sure it's safe. What if we gave somebody something and it was, I don't know, poisoned? Wouldn't you feel bad?
Well, if you would like, I could always use magic to tell if it's poisoned or to purify it.
No
Also
need.
can do that.
No need. We don't want to wear you out. It's fine. I can do it.
She's so brave.
Yes, yes, she is. She's just such a giving person.
Sometimes I think to myself, how can I be more generous? And then I think, what would Bula do?
What
And
would
then I
Bula
guess I
do?
need to take a piece of this pancake.
Make sure it's the bacon one. Those are the ones you gotta just make sure they're
Oh no,
fully
he's
cooked.
gonna
you know?
gonna go like all the way around the bacon.
The
Marley
bacon?
doesn't eat meat.
That's right.
Oh my goodness.
Incredible. All right. This wagon bumps and bumps uphill to Freebridge, and you cross the river. And you head as far toward the wall as you can, knowing that the wealth distribution kind of goes from the center of the city outward. And you manage to find like a very small park, for lack of a better word. It's really just kind of a rundown, overgrown, grassy area between houses. And you think, well, this is as good a place as I need to set up. And you, I suppose, begin unloading your food. How would you like to go about advertising this small feast to the people.
We need.
Zata. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say we need somebody to draw the attention of the townspeople. Somebody loud, and with a voice that carries far.
We need a lion roar.
Sure, I can do that. I'll just go up to the near, to people and be like, "There's food. You should come get it." Oh
Right,
yeah, you need a lion's roar. Then I guess I'll be in the middle of the thing and I'll use my daunting roar. So everyone will hear it.
All right. You daunting roar and also yell out, "There's food! Come get it!" Roll performance to see whether it scares people away or brings them in.
This is gonna be so good, guys. I have such a good minus to this.
I
Oh
believe
my
in
God.
you.
4.
Oh my gosh.
I was about
Incredible.
to say I can't wait for 2024 handbook when guidance is a reaction, but it's not like it would have helped you there anyway.
No. Zata's really good at talking to people
Too
in
far
his
gone.
own way.
You do this as two farmers are like walking home from work and they like take off running. Oh God!
Zata just chases after them, and he's faster than normal humans. He's just keeping up with them, like, "Why don't you want the food? It's free."
They're crying.
So as Seraphina sees this, she's gonna cast Minor Illusion. And so with a Minor Illusion, you can cast a sound, and the volume can range from like a whisper to a scream. And so she'll cast Minor Illusion, and in a very, very loud voice, using the illusion, she'll say, "Please do not be frightened. We have free food at the park. Please come and join us. We hope to see you there."
You see them hear this very sweet voice and they slow down. They look at you, but they're like, "Don't eat us."
Wouldn't want to
This
eat
is
they're
you
going
anyways.
exactly as well as I thought it would.
I guess we should have started with the charismatic person, huh?
But sure enough, like especially the like neighbors whose houses face this little grassy park, you see doors peek open, you see people looking out windows, and they see a wagon full of food being brought out. And first it's a few small children, then it's a few like little old ladies who were like obviously like in the middle of knitting club who come out. And they're like, "Oh, do you have Brussels sprouts? We've been craving those." And
They have
slowly but
bacon
surely.
pancakes.
Bacon pancakes. That sounds soft enough to chew. I think we could do that. And slowly but surely, thanks to Seraphina saving the city folk from the lion guy, people start arriving and word spreads fairly quickly. And before you know it, there's a solid like 45 people standing around eating and chit-chatting. And one of the old ladies says, "So, which church did you say you're with? I love hearing about different churches."
Oh, we serve Ere.
This one does not speak for all of us.
No, we're the Saints of Tuzank. We're just an organization trying to help.
So
That
this-
also serves Ere.
Okay. So you're not
Lula
with
just like
the
steps
Ere.
in front of Zata and just like elbows him back.
As you can see, we invite all types of people into our fold, regardless of who they worship. All we want to do is help the people of Tuzank.
Oh, you have good food. This is nice. My grandson came to visit last week, and he knows this man from the store, and their name it leaves me. And she just is rambling on as she eats this plate of bacon pancakes.
I'll pat her on the shoulder and start just moving about, if there's a word for that. Mingling.
Mingling.
And kind of trying to get a feel for the people that gathered around. Do they seem in good spirits? Do they seem downtrodden or maybe overexploited?
as you're walking around, it's clear like most of the people here know you all stand out, whether in dress or in general appearance. And there doesn't seem to be a lot of trust for you, besides the fact that you brought food. And in fact, a lot of people are a little bit demanding, like, is this is it? You didn't bring any of that lamb they serve over on Bumble Street? You didn't.
You're welcome to go to Bumble Street. That's not where we are.
If I could go to Bumble Street, I'd be on Bumble Street. And rolls her eyes and walks away. There's an air of pessimism, to say the least. But people are happy to partake in any free food, as much as they are cautious about why that free food is being offered. There's also a lot of children running around barefoot, dirty.
I'm going to go run around with them.
As is your right. You end up starting a game of tag.
I should be wary. With these goat legs, I'm very fast and I'm very good at tag.
The crowd comes and goes. You spend the better part of 3 hours, really, before all the food is depleted. And at that point, people are still coming by and kind of looking for any extra leftovers or anything they can pick up and take home. And without a whole lot of aplomb, the crowd eventually dissipates, and you're all left with a whole lot of empty crates, a very tired donkey, and a very tired Maraway sitting on the floor.
Well, that was really fun. Did you get any good investigation done?
I spread the word of Ere to everybody. That seemed to be pretty good.
This was supposed to be non-denominational, Zata.
Did we learn anything?
No. I think we're beginning to learn something. Does anybody else get the feeling that we're being played by the Thieves Guild? We found nothing.
Yeah, the people don't seem overly angry.
Wait a minute. You're telling me that the Thieves Guild that I told you were bad might be bad?
Yes,
I mean,
Maraway, maybe.
Oh
I'm willing to entertain the idea.
I'm so good at this.
But what she told us was so specific.
It was, and that's why I'm so confused.
How do you make up that stuff about a magical artifact that's helping steal things? Like,
No, and even if he does have it, it seems like it's just has the power of a normal city official.
right?
They're all skimming off the top, I'm sure. Killian, did you notice anything when you were in that other neighborhood out of the ordinary?
I mean, aside from just very similar to the people here, I mean, they did seem a little bit, let's just say, almost like accepting of their station. Like they are kind of used to it. Like it's been this way for a little while, almost. Yeah, it's quite interesting. I mean, I still think we should maybe follow up with this Dixon individual. I think that might tell us a little bit more about the inner workings and how it might be being accomplished, at the very least.
I agree. Yeah. What if anything is happening? Whatever is happening is behind the scenes so thoroughly that the scene just looks like a normal city. So far, the only people we've seen discontent to the point where they believe it's corruption is the leader of the Thieves Guild and Hattie herself. And she didn't go into specifics.
Do we want to go to the bad part of the town? Because if people are angry there, I mean, if we're looking for angry people, maybe we should go where people told us there were angry people.
I mean, I say we just go to his house and look at it. I can cast detect magic. We didn't go in the house. I can go in the house and just look around for the magical item.
You're right. We did not break into the house. You're correct. We did not break into the house.
Almost like we explicitly agreed not to. But
see the angry people. See if we can make them less angry.
It seems we have three options here. Go see Dixon. See if he has anything. If he's more loose-lipped than Lord Herron. We go to the south side and see if we can get beat up by some malcontent people, or we go break into Lord Herron's house. Put it to a vote.
Well, we know Zata's vote.
That's one one for Herron's house.
I think
One for crimes.
I think following up with Dixon might be the next move.
Ula?
I want to follow up with some more bacon pancakes. I don't. Maybe Dixon. I mean, we heard kinda Herron's side of it. If this is somebody that's greasy under him, then I don't know. Maybe they'll give it away more.
Maybe. What do you say, Marway?
Well, I've already said that I want to go see the Grumpy Grumps. But if everyone else wants to go talk to the Greedy Greed, we can go to that too.
Ados looks at Seraphina.
I think the best course of action might be to follow up on Dixon, just to see what he has to say.
Let's go see Dixon.
You guys do such roundabout ways of handling things.
Would you like to arm wrestle me? Would that make you feel better?
I mean, if you want.
Bula gets in between them immediately because she does not want Marway to get his arm broken. She's like, nah, you're good. It's fine. She says, Killian's over there. If you want a naked fight, go find Killian.
Oh yeah, Killian, we're supposed to naked fight at some point, apparently. Seraphina was like, would like that to happen.
What? We
She
weren't
asked
naked
earlier
last.
today.
We weren't naked last time. What are you talking about?
That's what she told me.
There were clothes coming off everywhere in that fight.
Well, whatever we do, naked fight or Dixon, we need to return this donkey.
Okay.
So
You can go ahead and-
let's take him back, and then we can go talk to this Dixon.
You can go ahead and take him. I can take the donkey back. I'm not going to be particularly interested in anything that you say with this person. I could just meet you there. I'll just drop the donkey off. So I'll
Zata?
meet you there. Is that...
If you always go to the same places, how do you know if you won't miss a fight? You have to change your movements throughout the city, just in case you meet somebody who wants to mug Marroway or think they can take Bula on.
I'm very muggable.
He is muggable. Look at him. Look at him. I'll point.
I mean, if you feel like you're in danger, I'll take it with you. But I was just going to do it to save time. I can meet you wherever you need to go, so you don't have to drop off the donkey by itself. I can just run to you guys pretty quickly. Just let me know where you're going. But if you want, you can all go together. It's not a problem.
I don't think it's that far out of the way.
We'll go together. We'll go together.
Onward.
We'll have a drink before we head out to meet Dixon
Yes.
to steal our nerves.
I agree.
Yes.
We're gonna go meet this guy in the middle of the night.
Yeah, it's a shady appointment.
All right.
Is it before
Well,
9
I think
o'clock?
It would only be about like 4 p.m. at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah, it's
I
not
would say
late.
it's not that late.
Mid-afternoon.
Oh, okay. We got plenty of time. Do we want to
Like
take
4
this donkey
o'clock.
anywhere else? We still got this rental.
Don't run- we gotta.
Shame to let it go to waste.
The poor donkey is just like
Just-
running on fumes, and he's looking at you like, "Please stop."
Just gonna bar hop around with the donkey.
Ooh, party bus. Yeah, let's go.
Incredible. Okay. So you're gonna just look for this Dixon character?
Mhm.
Yeah, when we were in the meeting, did he say where Dixon might be? Is he in the West Docks or?
Yeah. This he's kind of like the overseer, the business, the Chamber of Commerce chair, if you will, of the West Dock area. So
Perfect.
you could head feasibly to like the one business bureau building in the West Dock neighborhood, which is weirdly named because it's actually the most southern point outside of the city walls. That's still part of the city proper, but it is part of like the west docks when you look at it from a bay perspective. So you all load up onto the now empty wagon with a whole bunch of empty crates, and I picture Maraway sitting inside one of the crates, just happily watching the city go by.
Look at me, Bula. I'm a shipment.
I am now the
You're something.
president. Okay.
She just like gives him a nice courtesy laugh, so he feels good about himself.
He buys it. He's like, I'm so funny.
Anything that the Bula says, I believe.
All right, and you all head down to the West Dock neighborhood, outside of the city gates. Killian, you're probably one of the only people in the group who really has much experience with the little neighborhoods outside of the city walls. And this looks a little bit nicer than the Knot, which was very much like a slum, a place where people who need to build their own shack would live. This is a little bit nicer because it has a set of shipping docks. Though it's still single-story buildings. These are more thatch wood than they are stone, like the buildings in the city. And you are able to pretty easily find... you head toward the docks themselves, knowing that that's kind of where the money tends to be. And you find a small neighborhood square and a office-looking building just inside the square.
Well, before we go speak with Dixon, maybe we should have some kind of plan. That might be a good idea.
Yes, I would prefer it. Been kind of
Not just vibes.
not just vibes. I don't know if flirting
What's
will
a
get us out of
plan?
this one.
Flirting will get us anywhere.
Well,
It has
Kind
a 100% success rate thus far.
Oh my
that's
gosh.
true. That's true. Well, I've sort of already established to Herron that we were starting this non-profit. If he has any sort of communication line with this Dixon fellow, it might be ill-advised to give them conflicting information. Do we want to continue with that, or do we want somebody else to speak to Dixon with an entirely new thing?
No, I think it's best to continue the story that we have already established, but I think we, remember that we have this, title now, the champion of flowers. So remember, we have that and if these people only care about money, then you might need a little bit of money to grease the wheels, so to speak.
Makes sense. Okay, so we'll flaunt our new title and our wealth and see where that gets us. Is that the plan?
The champion of flowers want to establish a non-profit in the city of Tuzank. Who's gonna turn that down?
Makes
All right.
sense. Makes sense.
And with this plan in mind for investigating more about the city of Tuzank and how you all want to play a part in this story of the city, we're going to go ahead and call this episode to a close. I think it's
Yay!
thank you very much to all of our friends who watched tonight. Super exciting. We broke 50 followers. Yay!
We did
Twitch
it.
affiliate, here we are. Oh my god. It's been a journey already. So thank you everyone for watching. Thank you to our players. You're all incredible. Oh my goodness. The Knights of D20. Take your a little bows after this first ever live episode. We will be back this same time next week, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And we look forward to seeing you all back here to find out what happens to the Knights and the city of Tuzank in this adventure.
And before we go, all the players got a hurrah. But if we could all chat, just give our DM a good round of applause. How amazing she is creating this world for us, and just really giving us somewhere that we can make these great characters. Like she's fantastic.
very much. It's been a joy and a pleasure thus far. And one last little bit. I think it is time for our players to level up to 3. So,
Oh, nice.
before next week, I would like you all to please adjust your character sheets so that we will start at level 3 next week.
Look at that, you're flirting leveled us up.
It was all the winking. That's what did it.
This
Milestone.
was
It's Bula eating her 50th item of the campaign.
Finally.
Yes, thank you all for watching. We really appreciate you. This is such a fun thing for us to do. So we appreciate all your support to the people we know, to the people we don't. Welcome to the community. We'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Till then, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.